welcome back to Hands and Feet Homestead. Today I'm out in the garden and I wanted to share with you the very first thing that I like to preserve from my garden each year, and that would be herbs. So every May into June is the time that I really like to get all of my herbs harvested and drying or dehydrating for storage for the season. Now, you don't have to do it in the spring, but there is a few reasons why I like to do it that way. One of the reasons is the herbs I'm talking about are herbs that you are wanting to harvest for the leaves. So not ones that you're trying to get the flowers for, but things like culinary herbs that you use, like thyme, oregano, lemon thyme, even sage, things like that you harvest for the leaf, because those all will send out a flower, and you can still harvest it then. I've done that before too, but the best quality for the leaf is going to be before it flowers, because then the plant is going to be putting all its effort into making the flower, and then the oils on the leaves themselves won't be as potent. So that's one reason I like to do it in the spring for those types of herbs. The other reason is that there's not a whole lot to be harvesting out of the garden right now, and if I wait until the middle of summer or end of summer to be like rushing to get all my herbs together, then I'm probably gonna forget about it, and I'm not gonna get to it because I'm gonna be dealing with tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that that take up a lot more time. So that's the other reason I like to do it in the spring. Plus, the way that I have been doing my dehydrating is, there's a few ways you can do it, but I like to just do it the old-fashioned way, where I just take the herbs, I bundle it up with some kitchen twine, and I just hang it up in my kitchen on the wall and just wait, around 5 days or so, 5 days to a week. Whenever it gets totally dry, then I'll just take it down and put it into a mason jar and store it that way. People have been drying herbs like that for thousands of years that way, and you don't really need a dehydrator, but you can absolutely use an electric dehydrator if you would like, and you would just use the lowest setting. It's usually labeled on your dehydrator. But so I'm gonna take you along as I harvest my herbs that I have ready to go, and then I'll show you where I tie them up in my kitchen. And I also another reason I like to do it that way is I just think it looks really pretty. It adds some fresh greenery for the springtime in my kitchen, and I just find joy looking at it, so that's another good reason. But yeah, so we're gonna get those types of herbs harvested today, and then I also wanted to talk to you about some three in particular, three of my favorite perennial herbs that I use for tea. And these are just super easy to grow, low maintenance. They're perennials, so they come back every year and you can enjoy them fresh. I've been doing that this spring ever since I've had the leaves coming up here, and making some tea, adding it to my green tea in the morning, or making a more all herbal tea at nighttime. And these are just some of my favorite go-to ones, so I wanted to share those with you. They have so many health benefits, so I'll talk a little bit about that too. So yeah, let's go and talk about those three herbs, and then I might mention a couple other of my favorites too, but we're going to focus on those. So my number one that I'm going to mention here is super simple one, is, well, chocolate mint for me. Now this could be any type of mint. You could do peppermint, spearmint, orange mint, chocolate mint, whatever you like, but I've had chocolate mint growing here for years, and it just goes wild, so I'll show you what that looks like. This is chocolate mint. It's kind of all over right here, and these are actually in my strawberry bed. And the reason there's so little of it right now is I actually tried to rip it all out last year, even though I really love it, and I put some in a pot just because it was kind of taking over the strawberries over here, and I thought I got it all out, but as you can see, it has totally come back, so, which I'm actually very happy about, because now I have more mint and I can dehydrate more. But I'll show you. So yeah, it's just all over here, and then it kind of went over here with my strawberries. So I have plenty for this year and to dehydrate more. So that is one of the things that you need to kind of be careful of. It's not a huge deal, but mint is known to take over wherever you plant it in your garden. So if you don't want it going into your other beds and taking over things, then it would be a good idea to plant it in a container. Epi. You can plant it in a container. You can even plant it in a big container and just dig it into your garden bed in the ground. That way it won't spread, because it likes to spread underneath the soil, and then they pop up everywhere like that. So, but it's a great plant to have. Hat. There you go. But it is definitely one of those herbs that you definitely want to have in your garden. So that's one thing you can get started this year, and you will be able to harvest from it for years and years to come. So as I harvest a little bit of this, I'll just talk to you a little bit about the benefits of chocolate mint or other mints in general. I'm just going to take some to dry a little bit in the house, and then also have for fresh tea. So you can just brew this with your fresh leaves, or you can use it dried for tea. You can also use it for desserts. It's really great with, chocolate desserts. You can add it to smoothies, maybe like a chocolate mint smoothie or something like that. There's lots of different ideas out there. You can look those up. But chocolate mint and mint in general is really great for digestive issues, like nausea, if you have gas cramping or heartburn. It also helps relax your nervous system. It has anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. So, and it helps relieve cold and flu symptoms, if you have congestion or headaches. It helps open up your sinuses. So a good cup of peppermint tea is great for many purposes. So that's one great medicinal herb to have in your pantry. Okay, so the second herb I love to use for teas I'm going to talk about is called Korean HYSSOP. And I'll show it to you right here. This is Korean HYSSOP, and she's smelling it. It smells so good. Now I will warn you, this is a black licorice anise flavor, smell to it and taste. So if you love that, you're gonna love it. If you hate that smell and that taste, I don't recommend it. But this is one of my favorite things to add to my teas. It just adds such an amazing flavor. It almost has a natural sweetness it adds to it. Again, it depends on your palate. If you don't like that flavor, you won't really care for this. But so for this, like I was saying, I do like to try to harvest this in the springtime because I do want the leaves. The flowers are edible as well, but for tea purposes, I like to use the leaves. You want to use after the leaves for tea. So I'll try to do that before it flowers. So these produce a really tall purple spike flower, kind of like a regular hyssop plant. And they're very, very pretty. So when you pick these, you want to take the top off. Right above, right there, you see the new growth coming out of the little V there, the little side shoots, the little leaves. So you would want to pick it right there, and then those will grow out to be more. So it'll make the plant more bushy and keep producing more leaves for you. So the more you do that, the less likely it's going to produce a flower before you want it to. And then also there are a lot of great medicinal benefits to the Korean mint here. This is wonderful. It is actually in the mint family. All of these things I'm going to be sharing are in the mint family. So they have a lot of similar benefits to them. But this one in particular, it's actually considered one of the top 50 fundamental herbs in Chinese herbalism. So it has a lot of different medicinal uses. It's really great for gastrointestinal issues, if you have nausea, bloating. It's good for diarrhea or vomiting, help with digestion. It is great for colds and flus, especially for chest congestion in particular. It also has antibacterial and antifungal properties. Been traditionally used as a miscarriage prevention for pregnancies. And it even helps with combating morning sickness as well in pregnant women. And you can also make it into a mouthwash. You could just kind of swish a strong infusion of it in your mouth and use it as a mouthwash. So there's so many different uses for this plant. You can eat the leaves. The flowers are even edible too. So you can add it to salads for some extra flavor, either fresh leaves or dry. So yeah, it has so many uses. I really, really love it. It's definitely one of my favorite things to use for tea. And that brings me to number 3, which would be lemon balm. And that is such an amazing plant to have in your garden. And again, it's easy to grow, comes back every year. I have a few smaller plants around. I had a bigger one and it kind of got taken over by grass. So I just kind of like divided it out and just planted multiple lemon balm plants to get those started. So I usually have a lot more than this right now. But this here is lemon balm, also in the mint family. So again, there are so many great uses for lemon balm. It is very well known for reducing stress and anxiety, helping you to relax. It even helps boost your mood. It helps with insomnia, sleeping disorders, things like that, nervousness. And it's really great when, for those purposes, to help with sleep or anxiety. If you combine it with other herbs like valerian root and hops and even chamomile as well. Those all together. I've done that. I've made tinctures. There's different ways to prepare it, but I have made tinctures in the past with those herbs all together, and it just helps as a little sleep aid if somebody is having some trouble sleeping. It's also great for things like nausea, indigestion. It can help ease PMS symptoms such as menstrual cramps. Helps with headaches, gas, bloating. And it even helps with treating cold sores, helps reduce the pain from toothaches. And also, just like the other ones, it's also antibacterial, antimicrobial, and it can help even fight against candida issues. It's also been shown to help with people with hyperthyroidism, so an overactive thyroid, which seems to be less common than underactive. With its calming and stress-reducing effects, I think that helps combat the symptoms of that. I did deal with that for a few months after my first pregnancy, and I felt like this was one of the herbs I took that really helped combat that, and I haven't had any issues with my thyroid since then, but that's one of the herbs that I really felt that did help me out. Because with hyperthyroidism, you get a lot of like anxiousness and nervousness and restlessness and things like that. So that is a very, very good plant to have. So those 3 are ones that I use all the time to make tea, and I'll use them fresh right now or dry it and use it over the winter. And there's, as I said, easy to grow. Get them in your garden this spring and they will be helping you out for many years to come. Another one I will mention is, this is regular hyssop. So I said Korean mint. It has like a lot of similarities to hyssop, but this is a true hyssop, which also has a lot of medicinal uses as well. You are after, again, these stems, these leaves here. So now would be a good time to just harvest this and just hang it up to dry and put that away. So there is that. And then another tea that is really good, is very well known one obviously, is chamomile, and that has a lot of benefits as well. It's super gentle and safe to give even to children and things like that. Again, I am not a doctor or an herbalist, so please do your own research when it comes to your using herbs and medicinal uses for herbs in your own household and for your family. I'm just sharing with you what I use and what I use with my family, but this is not medical advice. Do your own research, please. I always plant German chamomile. I have that started. I have to get it in the ground still, but for that is that one you want to harvest the little flowers that come up. That's what you're after for that. So now is not the time to be harvesting that, but that is definitely another good one to be growing if you want to start growing your own medicinal teas. So those are the teas I wanted to talk about, and now I'm going to go ahead and get harvesting my culinary herb. I'm going to do some oregano. I have some thyme and lemon thyme, and even some sage that I want to get drying right now. So I'll go ahead and take you along with that, and then I'll show you how I hang them up. So here's my huge oregano plant. It's gotten so big over the years. Another one that's a perennial, go ahead and get that in the ground. As soon as you start your gardens, get your perennials in, your herbs, and things like that. So this will end up sending out a flower, so this is why I want to get it now while the essential oils in the leaves are at its peak before it sends out its flowers. So just go ahead and cut some like that. Another thing I was going to say is these are like for culinary use, obviously. A lot of people, these are standard herbs people use in cooking, but people don't even think about it that normal herbs like oregano have amazing medicinal benefits as well. You can go ahead and look those up. But using those just in your daily cooking, if you're especially fresh from your garden, I mean, you're not going to get much fresher than that, and you're going to be getting all sorts of great health benefits from that. So it's another perk of growing your own. That'll be good for right now. It's the oregano. Let's go get the thyme and then lemon thyme. Here's my lemon thyme. Now this, if you're not growing lemon thyme, I really highly recommend it. It smells so good. But this is so good on especially things like fish or chicken, but especially fish, like a white fish of some sort. Here's my regular thyme plant. I use this all the time. I mean, I use it in pretty much every soup I make. Soup, and even adding it to rice, things like that is really good. And it's nice to, when I dry them, I can kind of keep them in the sprig form, so I can just add, tie some together on some kitchen twine, and then just add like a little sprig like that to some soup to simmer. Last one I'm going to get is sage, which, as you can see, they send out these really pretty pink flowers here, and it's already starting to do that. But that's okay, I'm still going to harvest some of it anyway. I use sage. I don't use an incredible amount of it, and I still have some herbs, dried herbs from last year in my pantry, but it's always good to get some more. Okay, so I'm back in my kitchen now, and this is just the wall I like to use to hang my my herbs up on. And so basically I have some kitchen twine here. I just like to use the food grade since I'm hanging food, but you could probably use other types of string as well. And basically, if they're clean, it's up to you. You don't have to rinse it. I'm probably going to give it a little rinse, but just rinse it off a little bit, or don't if it looks pretty clean. And then you're gonna basically just make a little bunch. You don't want to make it like too large, otherwise it won't get enough airflow, but just like a little bunch. You can go bigger than that, but just tie it around the base, and then I just leave like a little loop from the tie that I make, and then I just hang it up on these thumbtacks here. I mean, there's obviously different ways to do it, but I just have little thumbtacks all up the wall here, and I can just kind of hang them up like that. And that's all there is to it. It doesn't require any electricity like a dehydrator would or anything, so that is good. So yeah, that's all there is to it. So I'll get these hanging up. They're all done, they're hanging up to dry, and it smells so good. I love having them up in the kitchen and I can smell them, and I think it looks really pretty up there. I'll just let them sit up there and dehydrate for the next 5 to 7 days. I'll check on them when they are dry and very brittle. You'll know they're done, and you can just store them in like a glass mason jar or something like that. That's what I use. And when these are all done, then I'll go out to the garden and do another harvest. I'll get some more herbs, or maybe some of my tea plants, like, or more of these, whatever's out there and ready to go. And I'll just go ahead and just keep cycling them through throughout the spring and early summer. So that's all for today's video. I hope you found something helpful or interesting or inspired you to get out and start your first preservation project of the year. This is always a good one to start with, and I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, please remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. That really helps us out, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and as always, we will see you on the next video. Take care and God bless.